You have arrived. This is Quiplash 3. Quips on Parade. I'm your host, Schmitty, and you're now all my best friends. And extra players can put in that room code and vote in the audience. And now, round 1. You're about to see a couple of different prompts on your device. Enter your best response for each, then go head-to-head against another player's best stuff. Oh, and everyone else gets to vote on their favorite. Points are awarded based on the percentage of people who went for your answer, so make them count. Finally, let's see some action. Let us set sail with... Dogs are so gullible, they actually believe blank. Pick a winner. Let's keep it going. Solar and wind will be a joke once we harness the power of blank. And now, pick your favorite. Next on the docket, finish the rhyme. Roses are red, violets are blue. I got you this card, blank. Time to pick the one you like best. Round 1 is done, but not forgotten. Let's check the scoreboard. Round 2 has arrived. The points are doubled, but so are the expectations. Time's almost done. Save your bacon with a safety quip. It's quip time. Prompt number 1 is an epiphany you have at your 20-year high school reunion. Make your vote count. And next, what screen name can you just go ahead and assume is a bot? Now it gets real. Next up, the worst thing to say in an interview right after you've won the lottery. All right, people, it's voting time. No more round 2 for you. It's scoreboard time. And now for Quiplash, the end you've been quipping towards. I'm going to send each of you a prompt that requires 3 separate responses. You got this. And seeing how we have an odd number game, you'll be quipping against me, Schmitty, your host. Tick-tock, time's almost up. No turning back now. Let's be positive. Name 3 things you're looking forward to. Okay, everybody, pick your favorite quip. Oh man, I thought I had that one. 3 reasons you ain't getting into heaven. All right, vote for the one you like best. Take a deep breath and behold the final scores. Wait, what? We're live? Welcome to Quiplash 3! Quips Reloaded. I'm Schmitty. You know, like from your dreams. Ready or not, it's round 1. You'll rake in the points based on the percentage of people who dig your response. Got it? Great! All right, no time like the present. Let's get the party started with a bribe. Is it a bribe to give a federal judge blank? Now vote. Without further ado, name a snack food for mummies. Here's the fun part. Pick your favorite quip. And here we have the worst thing to be inscribed on a welcome mat. Decisions, decisions. Choose your favorite. And that was round 1. Let us never speak of it again. On to the scoreboard. Round 2 is here, and the points are doubled, so stop talking about round 1 already. Time's winding down. Use a safety quip if you have to. Let's have a look. How about we start with warning, fairy dust may contain blank. All right, vote. Next one up. Idea for an improved hotel room sign. Privacy, please. I'm blank. All right, choose your favorite. Let's see how they handle a code name a nervous spy would give himself on his first mission. Okay, choose your favorite. Wow, that's it for round 2? Time really flies, huh? Let's see your scores. Prepare yourself for Whiplash, where all Quip roads lead. Each of you will be sent a prompt that requires 3 separate responses. Okay, player 2 looks a little freaked, but you'll do great. And due to the fact that we have an odd number of players, you'll be competing against me. Oh man, I forgot to stretch. Time's running out. Let's see what you've done. 3 Wi-Fi networks you do not want to connect to. And now it's time to vote for your favorite. Hey, game respects game. You know what I'm talking about. 3 things that instantly ruin a shirt. And now, pick your favorite. I can't believe we made it! Let's see the final scores!
Welcome to Talking Points. Talk about a great lineup of speakers. Let's do this. First, you're going to create original speech titles for each other. On your devices, finish the 3 speech titles you've been given. Fill in the blanks with something interesting. The weirder, the better. all of the titles. There's more than one. Now, pick one of the titles that has been sent to your device. This will be the title of your presentation. Well done! You will be the first speaker, and you will be their assistant. What exactly are you going to be doing? Excellent question. As the speaker, you will be presented with a series of slides chosen by the assistant. When you see a text slide, read that text out loud as part of your talk, and move on quickly. When you see a picture slide, just say words until something makes sense. You can even draw and type on the slides. These slides will be picked in real time by the assistant. You should always be busy using your controller to set up the next beat of the speech. You'll see the text and picture options that could follow it. If you don't think the setup text fits the direction of the speech, tap it forward or back to get new options. All speeches will follow this exact structure. Quick personal intro, speech title, picture, text segue, picture, text segue, picture, thank you. Meanwhile, everyone else reacts to the speech in real time. Points aren't just based on value. How many times you hit the button is just as important. So hit them a lot. That's it. It'll be over before you know it. Assistant, go ahead and start picking that first picture. And speaker, don't forget, you're in charge of advancing the slides. So when you're ready, hit the button and the speech will begin. Okay, so half of your score comes from engagements. You know, how many times people hit buttons. And the other half comes from the peaks and the valleys of the graph, the qualitative judgments. Put it together, and that's your score. And don't forget, the assistant gets points too. While the speech is still fresh in your mind, let's fill out the comment card. Write something short and funny that you took away from the speech, whether the speaker intended it or not. Okay, now you know how this goes. to check the graph. Fill out that comment card. Ready? It's you! Here's the graph. Leave a comment at the card. And our next performer to the stage. Let's see how you did on a graph. Come here, let's comment. One last bit of prep before the award ceremony. Give the award you're going to give out a funny and unique name, or just name it after yourself. I don't care. Look at all the amazing speeches we saw. And now, the moment of truth. Each of you has one last big award to give out, and that includes the audience. Pick the speech, or now finally, the big awards. I think everyone's a winner, especially the winner.
Congratulations, fellow demons. You and your family have been selected to take part in our groundbreaking Demon-Human Relations program. You'll be living among the humans and taking part in the pointless and highly stressful rituals of mortal life. Although why you'd want to is beyond me. The office downstairs wishes me to inform you that you each have a family role, parent, teen, or child. That role will affect how you interact with your fellow family members, so take note of it. And if you want to freshen up your look, use your device to cycle through your options. Time to get moving. As your assigned Demon Relocation Specialist, excellent. You're going to see a list of tasks appear on your device. You know, mow the lawn, muck out the gutters, stand in the garage and sigh. These are normal chores humans do every day. No one knows why. Complete these tasks and you'll earn points for the family score. Keeping the family score high is your #1 priority. If you end the week with a low family score, you'll get a failing grade, and the boss downstairs will not be happy with you, or me. I suggest you work together to do as many tasks as possible. Some tasks require teamwork, so don't be afraid to yell when you need a hand. But there's also a prize for the individual that earns the most points. They'll be rewarded with a human-style trophy to lord over the rest of the family, the coveted World's Bestest Devil Mug. Last thing, tasks with this symbol are selfish tasks. They don't help the family at all, and doing too many causes an emergency that can be catastrophic to the family score. However, they're worth a ton of points to those devilish enough to get away with them. Just saying. Got all that? Good. Now, let's see today's human challenge. The case of the haunted suburb. The neighborhood is in suspense after multiple reports of a ghostly old sea captain haunting the streets at night. It's up to the family to solve this mystery, mostly because no one else wants to. That's your challenge for the week. Challenge tasks look like this. They're worth more points, and doing all of them is the only way to get a perfect grade, so don't screw them up. Brace yourselves, day 1 begins now. A highly valuable challenge task has just appeared. Remember to do all of them to get the best rating. A member of the family is asking for help with a task. If you need someone older or younger to help with a task, let your fellow family members know. Well, looks like someone's being selfish. When you hear this sound, that means one of the family has given in to their devilish nature. A task to stop them will appear on your device, but you have to act fast. Acting selfish fills the meter, eventually leading to a family emergency. But it's worth a bunch of points, if you can stay under the radar. A challenge task has been added to the list. A task for this week's challenge just appeared. Another selfish act has begun. If I were you, I'd grab the task to stop it, or just publicly shame the perpetrator. As my study of mortals has taught me, a little guilt goes a long way. You're halfway through the day. If you don't like your score, now's the time to grab some high-value tasks. I hear the sounds of selfishness. Almost time for bed. Last chance to earn points. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody's selfish actions have caused a family emergency. You've all got to work together to end the emergency, and the whole family loses points until you do. Better hurry. Everyone still friends? Don't answer yet. Here's your current family score. Respectable, but nothing to write home about. Remember to pay attention to the tasks that are worth the most points, and work together to finish team tasks quickly. Here's everyone's individual score. This family member did the most selfish tasks. Remember, selfish acts don't help the family and can lead to family emergencies that cost you points. If you see someone acting selfishly, grab the task to stop them. Unless you like pandemonium, I suppose. All right, back to it. A challenge task is now on the list. Don't miss it. By the way, if you want less hand-holding, you can turn off tutorials in the settings menu. Fair warning though, you will miss me. The day's half done. Pick up the pace before time runs out. Time's almost up. It's now or never, family. Another day in the books. Let's see how you're doing. Here's your family score. Nice work! With a score this good, I might finally get that demotion I've been angling for. Now to check your individual scores. These family members did the most selfish tasks. It doesn't bother me if the most selfish family member wins. Just making a note of it. Back to work, family. It's the last day of the week, so pay attention to your score. If you don't reach this goal, you risk failing the week, and there is no retrying on the final day. Just to shake things up, I'm doubling all the points today. Don't all thank me at once. That little number next to each task on your device isn't just for show. Prioritize high-value tasks to earn points fast. Looks like the day's half done. I'd start plowing through those tasks if I were you. The day's almost over. Finish those tasks quick. That's it. The week is over and it's time for your performance review. Let's see how you did. We were pleased to hear you ended the phony ghost's reign of terror. The human world has one less cranky old man to deal with. Congratulations on successfully completing this human challenge. As for your personal scores, This family member was the most selfish overall. You might have gotten an A if you'd all been team players. Something to keep in mind for next time. Let's hand out that mug. Hi there, still here. I've given each of you an honorary family title based on your performance. Just tap the big button on your device to view and share. No need to thank me.
All these human chores